Hi, I am Dan Tweardy. I am the Chief Business Development Officer here at Orbit AI, where we are trying to make access to higher education equitable to all. And I am so lucky today to be here, joined by one of our former student leaders. She's a wonderful person and just an altogether very impressive high school student. And I've had the pleasure of not only kind of getting to work alongside her, but also kind of watch her lead her fellow peers in our student leader program. And without further ado, you can do a quick intro, Adeola. I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Dan. Hi, everyone. My name's Adeola Adeyemo, and I'm a graduating senior from Tampa, Florida. I joined the student leader program just to engage in my own leadership and learn more about what Orbit AI could offer for my community, especially as a graduating senior. And I'm so excited to be attending Princeton University this fall.
Wow. Go Tigers.
Go
Amazing.
Tigers, yes.
Is that, do they do
More
this
like
too?
that was more just like a rock on thing. This is definitely the
Okay.
USF Bulls, but this is my just rock on. I guess I could go
Oh,
like a growl, but that's
that's
all I
so
got for
funny.
now.
That's so funny. It's such a Florida thing to be like, oh, this
It
is
is.
definitely South Florida
Oh,
Bulls.
this is
As somebody
definitely
who grew up in Houston and just was constantly
okay.
surrounded by Texas people being like, all right, hook 'em.
Oh God.
Or if you're Matthew McConaughey, you go, hook 'em, which
Oh.
you got to be a special dude to pull something like that off. So before we get into questions, talk about everything, applications and all fun, all that fun, good stuff. Like, the thing about college application that no one prepares you for, it's not just that it's stressful, it's this very specific type of stress. The kind that you're making decisions that feel permanent when you're 17 or 18 and you're somehow supposed to know exactly one, who you are, two, what you want, and three, how to say that in 650 words, which is something
Oh,
I don't think I can answer any of those questions now, and I am not 17 or 18 years old. So that is what this show is about. As I mentioned, I'm Dan Twardy. In every episode of Find Your Orbit, I'm going to sit down with a student who just went through the exact process and actually came out the other side all the better. You know, and
maybe.
not to just give like a highlight reel, to give an honest version. You know, the moments it got hard, the things that actually worked, and what they wish they had known. You know, sitting where you are sitting right now, if they could go back in time a little bit. So our first guest, not only did they make me laugh, but they made me strike in awe when I first heard her full story. You know, because most of us can barely hold it together during application season. I know I wasn't doing that much, but here's someone who, one, while she was submitting her applications, was running an organization of 18,000 students across Florida. She was selected as one of 120 students nationwide for the Morgan Stanley Finance Scholar Program, and somehow in all of that was able to get into Princeton. How? How? How were you able
Gosh,
to do it? Adiola, I am really glad you said yes to this. How are you feeling today? How are you doing?
I'm feeling great. It's a great week. About to graduate high school. I'm looking forward to the
Woo!
future.
All right, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us. I guess like before we get into it, I guess like if you could take me back like a year ago, you're in the middle of applying to college, you're about to enter that summer before senior year. What's going through your head? What were you thinking in terms of priorities, summer before senior year? How was your headspace?
Yeah, so I'm a first generation American student. So my parents didn't really know what was going on in terms of what colleges are out there, what the Common App is, that a college application can even cost like $90 per school.
Crazy.
So I would say this time last year, I was kind of just in like data collection mode in terms of going online and talking to as many seniors that I knew who had just been through the process. Because at this point, all I know is I've been working so hard for the past 3 years, and I want to go to a great school. I just didn't really know what that looked like. So I would say May, I was just talking to as many people as possible and just trying to find out what information was right and to kind of discern my own path for myself.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, smart. So you're reaching out to students who had just gone through it or maybe just gone through their freshman year at
Mhm.
schools you were looking at with a kind of similar geographical background. Okay, that's really cool. That's smart. I imagine I imagine also like those students, like those people who have just gone through, are kind of like they're past the buck. They're kind of they're
Yeah,
willing. They're like, I want to pass on what I learned because
yeah,
uh,
a lot.
that was a bit. Oh yeah, that was a lot. All right, cool, cool. So your senior year, you're running DECA. You're DECA president of Florida, which is that the largest one of like top five
We're
largest
like
DECA
we're
organizations?
definitely top 5. I think we're below Texas and Georgia. And I think we're right below
Okay.
those. So I think we're 3rd.
Gotcha, gotcha. And Georgia, I feel like Georgia likes to
Oh my
puff its
gosh.
chest out like it's a big state. It's just got a lot of counties.
It's
It's
huge.
crazy. There are
It's
more
huge.
counties in Georgia than there are in Texas or any other state. They're just so divided. So it makes
Oh.
it seem like they got a lot more going. Well, some of the live in Georgia. I love Georgia, but you know, go dogs, of course. Okay, so how on earth are you running this organization of like 18,000? You're meeting on it weekly, bi-weekly. You're on top of this all the time. And then also you're going through your application process in the fall. How like what were your habits that like helped you kind of hold these two things together in the fall?
I think that when people answer this question, they usually go with the answer of just prioritizing and time management. But when it comes to being a student, a high school student, where you don't have control over your day, and it's not like you're an adult where you can, like, you have the freedom and the independence to say no to things and say yes to things, like, decide exactly what you're doing each day. So I think it's more of a conversation about sacrifice and just deciding what you want to do with your. Let's say you go to school for 9 hours, you go to sleep for 9 hours, how much time is there left in the day? And just being very intentional with how you spend your time. Because at the end of the day, the time's gonna go past. You can either spend your time doing X or Y, but you just have to figure out what you're willing to give up. Because you can't do everything. It's just impossible.
Right? You gotta sacrifice. You know, I feel like I hear the word intentionality a lot as professionally in every kind of realm in the last couple of years. I feel like that's become a real heightened thing because people and high achievers like yourself are carrying so many different plates at the same time, and it's hard to be intentional. But like if you can parse out your time in a manageable way, then it's not as hard as you think.
And also
Okay.
delete social media. Whenever I was going through like that cycle, no TikTok, no Instagram, barely any YouTube. I even deleted like Pinterest at one point. Just get
Wow.
off it because it is a vacuum of waste your time, for
That
sure.
you know, that's when you know you're committed. When you've
It's
gone
just horrible.
the extra mile to delete Pinterest. You're just like, I can't even
It's
look at
horrible.
it. Ah, that's funny. So, okay, obviously, like we've listed a few, like extracurriculars were not a problem for you. But like, how are you thinking about extracurriculars as you were kind of building out your applications?
Like from freshman year, you'd say?
Sure, sure, yeah, if
Okay.
you want to.
I was always a business kid. I'm studying like finance slash business slash engineering at Princeton. So I knew that that's where I wanted to start my story ever since like maybe even middle school, honestly, just because I knew I was so gung ho about the business world. And then freshman year, the plan was just try everything, see what my school has to offer, and kind of just get a vibe check of what sort of narrative I could craft with the
Right,
opportunities
smart.
provided for me at my school. And then I just had to be strategic about what looked good and what was the hardest, what were like the hardest things possible, and what were like the most impressive sort of tangibles that I could create within 3 years. So I wanted to choose things that demonstrated competence in my field, demonstrated that I cared, but then also had like service and things that made me like more of a human. Like I started an anime club at my school,
Nice.
but I still had like the DECA. I still had these STEM sort of
Right.
extracurriculars. I just wanted to create a
Yeah.
story that was unique and delivered me kind of as a person because college admissions can get so redundant, I hate to say, with the type of student, just because these are the same classes, same extracurriculars.
Right.
So my goal was just making a profile that humanized me to the admissions officers.
Gotcha, gotcha. Added depth, kind of eclectic. Like she's got a lot to her, you
And
know.
then she's
So,
not a bot because all of the kids applying are kind of the same in terms of their
right.
profiles. So I had to be different. That was my main goal.
Totally get that. Yeah, I feel like there's so many playbooks out there that are just like do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
You'll get into A, B, and C, and then that's kind of it. So less and less wiggle room there. Okay, cool, cool. That is honestly very cool. I did not know about the anime club. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was, I promise you, it was so cool. People cringe when I say it, but the amount of people near my booth during Club Rush, great, it was crazy.
I can
It's
believe it.
crazy.
You know, I anime seems to be more and more popular with younger generations, which is awesome. I kind of, as someone who kind of secretly watched Dragon Ball Z and like
Love
other
it.
Toonami shows growing up, I did not know it would become so mainstream. It's amazing. I love it. Full endorsement. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so extracurricular, other than extracurriculars, like the dreaded tests,
Mhm.
ACT, SAT, how did that fit into your process? Like, is that something you had locked in very early, or is that something you're like, "I'll get to it junior year"?
I was definitely the latter. I did not have that test locked in as like
Amazing.
when I should have. I had like, because junior year was just a hellish year for me, period. And so I wasn't even I was at a DECA conference when my school offered the test. So I wasn't even at school for like that whole week because of our state conference.
Mhm.
And so I kind of just put it off, put it off, put it off, which wasn't the best idea in the hindsight. But once again, I just prioritized what was available to me at the moment.
Of course.
During that time, I had ECs that I did that got me into this school, and the score is just something that came later on.
Gotcha, gotcha. That is impressive. So did you pursue any kind of like test prep
So
or like
I'm
you know,
extremely frugal, so I didn't want to pay for
for
anything. So I went on YouTube, looked up some people, and took my
mm,
practice tests because I knew that I could get the score without paying for it, or like not paying for it, but paying for an extra sort of third party prep. So I just didn't want to spend money on another expense when I knew college applications were already going to be so ridiculously expensive.
right, right. Gotcha. Okay. Dang, okay, so you just went the YouTube approach. That is
Yeah,
very modern,
and
very
Reddit
cool.
and Desmos, like, trust me, the
Reddit.
resources are out there for you to succeed,
Okay, wait,
100%.
what was the third one? Desmos?
Just Desmos, like, learning how to manipulate the calculator software we're offered. Oh my gosh, you can do the whole section 1 using Desmos. You don't even need to touch your paper. It's once you learn the hacks and learn how to use the application, it's so easy.
Wow. I yeah, I didn't understand any of that. That's amazing.
It's changed a lot, I will say.
Gosh, that's so cool. I guess like looking more at like the school selections for where you play, because like you're very clearly very well thought out, very meticulous about which particular schools to apply. How did you figure out like which schools were like potentially the right fit for you? Like not like necessarily like the list everyone just like throws at you,
Yeah.
but like what you needed
Yeah.
personally for like the next four
So
years of your
I
life.
sad to say that I was not as meticulous about making my list. I actually went
Hmm.
on ChatGPT and asked them for the top schools for business and computer science, and they spat out a list at me. I traversed it myself, went with the vibes, because I didn't really feel, especially when I have parents who aren't born here, I just didn't really feel any connection to any schools. 'Cause I feel like a lot of kids are like, oh,
Fair,
X is my dream school. Y is my dream school. I love this campus. I love
right?
this culture. But I was kind of raised where it's kind of just like, just strive for excellence. There wasn't really a school that I was aiming
Sure.
for or felt connected to. So I just wanted, and I knew that I could like sort of forge my own community and
Huh.
culture wherever I went. So I was kind of like, what school is going to provide me the most resources to succeed and give me as many challenges as possible? And and I ended up with a list of like 20 schools and I applied.
That's amazing. Honestly, I think that's a much better way than just looking at those lists and being like, okay, this is the best. This is the best. I gotta just do it, and then kind of personalizing and making it your own. So then, when you do like hopefully get into these schools and visit, you're like, yeah, this feels
Yeah.
right.
And then the
Um,
visit is where everything clicks completely.
Gotcha. So that's amazing. Now, my least favorite part of all this are the essays, like, right, the writing, expressing yourself. Terrible. So, like, when, like, if you can remember this, and I hate to walk you through a time that may have been not the best, maybe a little bleak at times. I know writer's block can get this way, but like walk me through when you get to an essay prompt for one of these, and you kind of like you get stuck, and you're like, oof, I I don't know what to say about myself in that certain context, or I don't have something for that. What were things you did to kind of help yourself get unstuck and use kind of like with these certain difficult essay prompts?
So I will say, writing the essays is one of my favorite parts of the application process.
What?
I've had like 7 diaries since like 5th grade. So I'm
Oh
like
my gosh.
ultra journal. I write almost every day. I have like 7 of them like underneath my desk that I will like, consistently go through just to like relive who I was 7 years ago. So that part wasn't that bad for me because I honestly felt like I was just in my diary, just on a Google Doc instead of in this little red book that I write in every night. So that wasn't that bad. But obviously, writer's block hits. I'm writing like how many 650-word essays as you spoke about. So I did a lot of reuse, reduce, and recycle, and just making sure that that Google Doc of every single essay that I ever wrote for any college and even scholarship was in one consolidated document, as well as just talking. I think that we're trying to, whenever students, especially high achieving students or students that want to go to great school start writing, they try to like portray this person who's gonna get into this school and who's a perfect fit for this university. Whenever I was writing these essays, I truly just spoke. Like, I was just wrote like I was speaking to the admissions officer. For my U Chicago essay, I wrote that U Chicago matched my freak. For one of the colleges, I straight up I think I might have added some profanity in there, I will say, because I just
All
wanted to be
right.
as authentic as possible. And so I feel like we get in the writer block because we're trying to be someone we're not. If you try to be yourself, it will come out 1,000 times better. An admissions officer want to hear about you, not whoever you think they want to hear about.
That is honestly, that's awesome. That's amazing. Good on you for doing the journaling every day. Like that is something I know if my parents ever watch this interview, they'll be like, we told you, Dan, that you should be journaling every day since you
It's
were
so
like
much
12 years old.
fun. It's so much fun. Oh my
I
gosh.
am the king of starting a journal and being like, all right, this is
No
it. And
valid.
like kind of interact with it, kind of fun, be like, hey, journal, and then never write in it again.
The key you
That's
it can't be
terrible.
for me, the key is just, like, not just doing random journal prompts and just, like, rate it straight up, like, prose writing, but, like, I have, like, diagrams in there. I have, like, I remember I did, like, a Reddit post structured journal
That's
entry
amazing.
where it was, like,
What?
a Reddit post, and I, like, did all the, like, signs and whatever because I was feeling creative that day. So just making it fun, like, it doesn't have to be this boring, like, paragraph style writing every day.
That's so cool. I'm a little inspired. I've been inspired before, so just for the record. But I want to start a diary
It's so
like
much
very
fun.
soon. It's
You have to do it.
yeah, you're right. You're right. It's just it's good for kind of unlocking things and like kind of keeping your brain active and also giving yourself a good perspective on what's gone down in your life that day and like kind of reframes things. I think it's really one very mature thing to do and two just yeah, if you make it fun like that, that's very cool. Okay, so like I guess moving on in the questions, ooh, questions. What like for you? I know you mentioned like did you like when it came to like your extracurriculars, your essays, like did you ever feel like the need to kind of create like a perfect scenario of something like that had happened to like kind of frame it, or did you find that like I've lived it. I have my diaries. Like these things actually fell into place for essays very well. Because I know there are students out there like feel like I'm in organizations, but like maybe they're low key, like they haven't been situations they're kind of like writing about. Do you like did you find that to be the case, or is that something you're like, I understand the leaning to do that, but I think if you become more involved, that's not something you'll have to deal
Yeah. I think that the framing of extracurriculars is something every student has to do, and in my experience at least, each essay has been open-ended enough where you can kind of slot in whatever extracurricular you need to. 'Cause they don't blatantly ask, "What was your favorite extracurricular? What was your most impactful extracurricular?" They'll do something like, "Tell me about something you're passionate about, and how have you demonstrated that? Tell me about a
with.
challenge you faced, blah, 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 blah." And then you use those as, like, entry points for your extracurriculars. So,
Gotcha.
I think that kind of helped, and each extracurricular I have is something oh, I've said extracurricular 20 times now, oh my god. But each activity I did was something I deeply cared about, and I kind of had, like, personal stake in, so that also made it really easy for me to write about because it's not like I just did this for my essay or my college applications. I think that's also another problem kids run into because 'cause they'll just do something for the name of it all, or they'll go
Right.
into activity very superficially, but if you actually care about what you're doing and you have genuine buy-in, then the writing will come and you'll have something to say.
Cool, cool. I think that is a wonderful perspective on how to frame these things, because like it could just be very daunting,
Yeah,
especially with more and more media, whether it's written or if it's social. Like you kind of get put in this position where you're like, ah, so many other students, I'm sure, have so much more compelling stories.
yeah,
But the fact of the matter is, it's how you write the narrative and how you place yourself in the narrative and how you
yeah.
react to the narrative
And, like, no
that make
one's
these
you.
things compelling.
Yeah, no
Exactly.
one can be you and no one can recreate who you are and what story you have to tell. So I feel like that's it's very, like, relieving and calming to think about that.
True. True. Everybody is a one of one, comes down to it. So you were an unbelievable student leader for us here at Orbit.
Thank you.
But you were also like, while simultaneously being a wonderful student leader, you're also exactly who the product is built for. So, like, is there anything like that you notice in terms of like that gap, seeing it from like both sides, like who we're trying to help, and like
Mhm.
with Orbit?
Like, the gap between, like, would you say, like, the target market for Orbit and, like, the access they have?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's well put.
Yeah, so I go to a Title I school, or, like, I'm the only one that got into our number 1 state school. There's, like, literacy is probably the number 1 problem we tackle right now. Like, students who are graduating right now cannot read. So coming from that sort of environment, students don't really, like, they can't even fathom applying to some of these schools. Like, some of these students are just joining the workforce straight up because they don't even believe that they can get into school. So I feel
Mm,
like products like Orbit AI, yes, they close the gap, but they also provide even a launching pad to even imagine that you could do something like this. Because I think that when I was talking to Satya, one of the biggest problems that he's addressing is the lack of bodies for school counseling and how
yes,
that sort of resource is only provided if you go to like schools like American Heritage,
right,
schools like these private schools and the academies all throughout Florida and whatnot. And so whenever a human being like doesn't sit down with you and tell you that this is
mm,
possible, these are the deadlines, you can actually do this, you don't have to go straight into the workforce, you can pursue something bigger than that. I think that Orbit AI kind of is that sort of resource, especially for students coming from my community where there's just not the manpower to provide that sort of environment.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, that is, I honestly, very well put. Couldn't have. I think that's something like that's pretty like the statistics can only go so far. Like we know that like 2 out of 3 schools don't have a counselor, or like there's only like 38 minutes spent between the student and counselor over
Even
4 years
less,
on
I'd say.
average. And
Yeah.
like yeah, it's even I think it's so much deeper than those stats. Like it's a real staggering gap that we're working to address, and it'll take time, but incrementally we will get there. If you had had orbit at the start of your junior year instead of like kind of learning about us, uh, kind of probably mid to late process. Like, what do you think you would have been done differently? Like, do you think the process would have looked different? I know you had such like a smart plan already in place, but just curious.
I think I would have saved so much time. And I would have procrastinated way less because the college admissions process, there's just so much information and there's so much to do, and you don't even know what information matters. You don't even know if this applies to you. So before you even start, you have to do all of this pre-learning and pre-work because it's such a behemoth of a process that Orbit AI kind of just delivers to you in a package where you can just jump right in, start from the clearly laid out tools that are already there. And whenever you don't have people like that or just tools like that, you're kind of just on a Google Doc with 50 tabs open on this YouTuber's page, on this Reddit sub, just trying to figure out where you can even start. So I think I would have saved so much time and stress if I had had that tool.
I hear that. I'm a bit of a tab goblin, so
Yes, it's so bad. It's so bad.
it's terrible. Then I'm like, why is my computer? Why is everything running so slowly? You know, it's like,
And then you close the
duh.
initial browser and there's like 100 tabs open behind it. It's horrible. Yeah.
I know it's early days, but have you started formulating where you kind of fall in terms of major, uh,
Yeah.
upcoming at Princeton?
Yeah. So Princeton students declare their major at the end of sophomore year, and
Oh, okay.
there are no double majors allowed. You can do like minors and
Huh.
certificates, but you can't choose two. And I've always known that I've wanted to do business. I've always known I've wanted to do tech. So I'm pretty set on doing the operations, research, and financial engineering major, just because it like neatly packages everything I want to do, and it still allows me to be like a finance bro, but I can still take all of my STEM classes. I can still code, and I still have also that job pipeline if I decide that I don't want to go work on Wall Street. I don't want to go into finance. There are plenty of students who come out of Orphe, like I like to call it, and they'll go into software engineering, they'll go into machine learning. So that duality is just perfect for me.
That is gonna be great. Like you can kind of straddle both sides, also while wearing a Patagonia vest
Yeah. Oh
and
my God.
finance bro
You
it
will
up. That's
never see me in Patagonia vest. Don't say that. I refuse.
the honestly, I think you'll be surprised.
Oh, don't
Sneaky
say it.
comfy.
Don't say it. No.
Not that I'm a vest person. I've thought about it recently because it seems like to be more and more prevalent.
Oh
But
my gosh, I swear. Everyone.
everyone's wearing
Everyone.
vests.
Oh my God.
It's
Mhm.
a terrible thing.
I swear.
I guess like if you had to guess what Princeton may have seen in your file that made a difference from the countless files they see, like what do you? I know this is big. This is a big one. So
Yeah.
what do you think it was that they saw and they were like, "Dang, she's it."
So I would say one of my favorite extracurriculars was that I sold cars throughout high school. I was a car salesman. We've
What?
talked about this, Dan. I don't know why you're so surprised,
I
but I think it might have been DJ actually. But I sold cars throughout high school, and that was what my main personal statement was about, and finding my love for business through that experience. And I like sold like U-Hauls. I did like the whole like trailers and tow dollies and da 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 da. So I think no other kid is doing that. I especially kids that are applying for these schools, they aren't spending their Saturdays in, you don't know what this is, but Plant City for people from Central Florida who know
Oh,
the bummy countryside of Tampa. They're not spending their Saturdays in Plant City selling cars and hooking up trailers and renting out 26-foot trucks. There's just that sort of experience is hard to find. Students don't really go out and do those sort of things that aren't really the most prestigious or the most academic. But I think that really helped me. I also think my essay was straight out of my diary. Like, it was
wow.
so, like, I go back and read it because it was one of my last schools that I applied to. It was just so narrative focused Like, I feel like I was telling a kid a story of my life, like I was some sort of anime main character, and I think it made me seem so passionate about what I wanted to do, because I could truly and in vivid detail tell them a story about what I've done and why I wanna keep on doing it. So I think that those 2 things and just having an overall spike of where I want to head into the world in college really helped me out.
Okay, wow. That, yeah, I don't think I'd be safe to say that just about every single high school student is not selling cars on
I
the side.
swear. Like, no one has my
It's a side
U-Haul
hustle.
experience. They can't say that they did that. Only I can, and that really helped.
Oh, that's hilarious, and I can't imagine that was always, peaches and roses
Oh
because
my
I
gosh.
know that
No.
people buy and I know when I've tried booked and, like, gotten my U-Hauls in the past, I'm not exactly stoked to be there,
Yeah, the personal
and
statement is about me writing resignation letters. Like, the first line, it opens up with me saying I quit or something like that, like signing off a resignation letter. So, yeah, it's the whole premise.
that is very brilliant. I'm just more and more curious about this experience. This could have been a whole show in itself, just you
About the
telling
U-Haul
selling U-Haul
Chronicles.
U-Haul Chronicles.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it's amazing. All right, we're getting here to like kind of wrap in soon. Couple more questions, then a lightning round,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
then we'll call it. But like I guess like this is one I'm sure a question you've gotten before. Sure, a question you'll get more and more in the future as you become into greater and greater success. But the kind of classic look back, like what would you tell your junior self right now that you didn't know then? Like,
I would say,
or
and I kind
perhaps
of
like
already.
a junior, like maybe not you perhaps, but like a junior maybe feels like they're behind.
Oh,
Or like
okay,
the
a junior
window
that
is
feels they're
closing a
behind.
bit. Yeah. They don't take diaries every day. They don't
Oh,
have
they don't.
they haven't
Um,
started anime clubs, you know.
in terms of your profile, I'm I'm not gonna say like some optimistic motivational speechy thing. I would say be really realistic with your options. Understand where you can get in. Reach for like the stars. I'm not saying only apply to like schools where your academic profile fits the best or where you know you're for sure gonna get in, but realistic that this is your life. You can't just go in blind and hope for the best and that things will end up where they will be because according to these acceptance rates, most of the time they don't. And I would say just know you don't need these schools to be successful. Especially when I go like into my communities where all the kids are applying to these schools and like Ivy Day was honestly like reckoning day. It was horrifying for all of us because we did not know if the past 4 years were gonna measure up to the outcome we wanted to. But you don't need these schools to be successful. You really don't. Like, I know how many state schools kids that are outperforming these Ivy League graduates every single day and are getting better jobs, making more money. So I don't think that the school you get into is like a prescription of what your life is going to look like forever. This is just the first step post high school. Yeah, it's going to change some things, but you can do absolutely whatever you want, whether you get into this school or not.
Gosh, that is wonderful advice. I think also applicable to those going through the application process, but also beyond, like in any job application and any, because like that's true for master's programs and beyond. Like
Yeah.
it's not where you are, it's how you treat it and what you do. I guess on the flip side, like you've already gone through a bunch of good stuff, but like if you were talking to juniors, a junior going through the process right now, and you want to point exactly to something you did. Like,
Mhm.
what was one thing you're like, I did that right. I'm glad I did it. I want to tell every junior in America.
I'm trying to not be
This is a
redundant, but
gospel.
this is my best advice. Be as different as possible. You kind of have to game the system here. You can't, like, you have to be very strategic with how you present yourself. And from an admissions
Right.
officer point of view, they
Right.
are, I don't know how much they're getting paid, but probably not enough. They're probably tired of reading the same opening, the same hook, the same ECs, just say something that's a little risky, I won't lie. Like, when I added in the that "You Chicago would match my freak," I was kind of just saying how I felt. Obviously, I don't think any college admissions counselor would advise you to say that, but just take the risks necessary to stand out, because if they can remember you, that's half the work. There's probably a kid out there who's more impressive than you, who's maybe smarter than you on paper, but if they forget that kid and they remember you because you made them laugh in your essay or because you had an extracurricular that no one else had, you will get in over them because the admissions officers have already forgotten their name and they remember yours.
Absolutely, absolutely. Be unique. Lean into that. Because we all are unique, you know. We're all snowflakes in a good way. We're all different from one another. But all kind of the same. All right. So wonderful questions. Nah, I wouldn't say that. Wonderful answers is what I would
No,
say.
great questions. I thought they were good.
Freudian slip, I guess. No, that's a terrible. It reflects poorly on me. I take it back. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. We're gonna go a little into a lightning round. I
Okay.
haven't prepped you for this at all. This is all kind of off the cuff, so you can be like pass,
Oh,
or
I can say pass.
you can pass if
Okay.
you'd like.
Okay. I'm not a wussy, I won't pass,
All
trust.
right, so it'll just be a couple minutes, maybe 10-ish, 10, 15 questions. All right. Is
Okay.
that good with you?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Thing you'll miss most about Florida when you get to Princeton.
The weather, it's too cold and I hate the snow, so I'm so screwed for New Jersey weather.
Oh, so how many have you been around snow?
Yes, and I hate it so much. Oh my God, I hate the snow so much. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
Main complaint is it's cold. You don't like the
I think
cold feel of snow.
if the sun is not shining at me and burning me as I enter my car, I will be sad. So I think it's gonna take a lot of a big transition for me to be out of it's 90 degrees outside right now. It's like 90, I'm gonna miss it so much. So I'm gonna have to acclimate to that.
I could not disagree with you more.
What? I hate the
If
cold.
if the sun is beating down on me, I feel like it is beating the happiness out of me when I
I
get
will
in my
literally just
car,
sit
and I
in the
just want to
sun
turn that
and
AC
just
on
I will
right
sit in the
now.
car without any AC just because the heat is so just it's so calming. What?
Ah, that is
What?
that's insane behavior.
Ugh,
That
oh
is just
gosh.
ridiculous.
Whatever.
Uh, shifting gears. What is your favorite anime of all time? Pick one. Only one.
Oh my gosh. Darling in the Franxx, easily.
What now?
Darling in the Franxx, you don't have the game
Darling
knowledge.
and the Franks. All right,
Darling
I
in the Franxx, you don't have the game knowledge. It's too niche for you. It's too niche.
that, so, I'm trying to figure out what that title could possibly even mean.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
hard.
very, very cool. What is the best thing you've read in the past 12 months?
12 months? Oh my gosh, I'm so How to Talk to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. I picked it up
Ooh.
from my religions teacher, and it's just made me appreciate people more. I'm a very
Oh,
instinct-driven person, and the book has shown me that my instincts are absolute crap, and I have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's really important to me. Yeah.
huh. That I like Gladwell. I think he's a pretty smart guy. He's
I
I
really
read
yeah.
I read Tipping Point a while back,
I
and
have,
I liked it.
Outliers somewhere over here.
Ah,
Where is it?
Outliers.
I think it's in my car. Yeah, it's somewhere over here. That's the next one. Yeah.
He is, yeah. He's a great thought leader. Good,
Okay.
very interesting voice. I've heard him on
I
podcasts quite
agree.
a bit.
Are you talking about, the Revisionist podcast?
Revisionist
Yeah, that's where
history,
I discovered
yeah.
him.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I was listening to that a lot when it first came out. Some really interesting nuggets. I even read his book, The Bomber Mafia, which I think
Ugh.
was kind of drawn from episodes of that podcast. Is pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, very cool. All right. So, what is the food item you will miss most? You're like, I will be craving that on like a Saturday or a Sunday when I'm up
Um,
in Princeton.
I'm half Filipino. My mother was born in the Philippines. So
Oh,
I'm gonna miss
cool.
my rice cooker. I went to visit and they did not have jasmine rice. I don't know, I'm kind of a rice snob, but they only had Mexican rice and basmati rice, and that is not my rice. So I think I'm really gonna miss having my own rice cooker and being able to just get rice whenever I want. Yeah.
Ah, that is I feel that. Actually, I had some jasmine rice last night. I'm sure
They
they'll
didn't when I
definitely.
visited, they better. They
That's
better.
crazy. Well, worst news or like worst case scenario, you transfer. You know,
Exactly.
like
Like,
whatever.
if they can't provide rice, then I guess I'll just take my money elsewhere, take my
Yeah,
tuition.
let's
Yeah,
go to Harvard. Whatever.
exactly. Like, I know they'll have rice for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Exactly.
I guess do you know when you're moving? When like what the process will look like? How are the lakes there?
I believe, move-in day is August 21st, and then there's, like, a 2-week freshman orientation. I don't know how common that is. That's what
God,
I said,
two
and
weeks
and they were asking me questions like, "How frequently would you like to have access to a shower? How important is
every
it?"
day.
I know. So I
What?
think they're gonna, like, take all of the freshmen to the wilderness and haze us like a Princetonian, but we'll see. And then, like, school starts like, fall term starts September 4th, which is way later than everyone else, but that's what the timeline looks
Oh,
like.
right, right. And y'all will also Princeton is kind of funky in that they'll do their finals after Christmas break, right? Their midterms.
I
Am
guess
I
I should
right
know
on
that,
that?
but I don't know. Maybe you
I
would know. You would know.
True, true. My jerk of a brother, going to
Jerk of a brother
Princeton.
and dad, weirdly enough.
And that, yeah, yeah. It's should have been automatic for me, but hey, I guess
It's
I
okay.
didn't get a 2400 like my brothers.
Oh my
What
god,
can
I
you do?
forgot it was like that.
Oh, back when it used to be three sections of 800, which I guess it is not anymore. They've just combined it back into 16. That was interesting to find out. Thank goodness. I got 800 on the writing, so it
Yeah,
was a
it's so
nice
much
section to
easier
have,
now.
to
It's
be
so much
honest.
easier now.
Whew, I would have been screwed. Writing bailed me out. All right, last question. Last question. What are there any bucket list items for you before you go up? Like you're like, I wanna go to Daytona 500.
Oh, before college?
Yeah, like any like local or like relatively local things. You're like, I want to do that before I head on up.
I would like to solo travel at least once anywhere, like outside of Florida. Like not like a day trip to the beach. I just want to
Okay,
solo travel like anywhere. Anywhere. Yeah, that's it.
gotcha.
That's
That is something that's still on my list. I'm very codependent, so I've never actually traveled anywhere
Oh
alone.
god, that's funny.
But my best friend and my partner have both done solo trips, and I feel like it was like three times
Oh my
the
god.
magnitude of a group trip because
Do they have any
you grow.
recs or like of where to go? Because I don't know what to do with myself where I won't where I'll like be safe, but still have a good time.
Right. He went to Vietnam, loved it,
Mm.
and kind of bopped around there. And then my partner, she went to Guilin, kind of like rice paddies and like
Oh.
very rural parts of China.
Oh, I would love to go to China.
So
Okay.
it's they're not the easy not the easiest trips to
I
go
will
on for
say,
you
yeah.
right now. You're like, I'm just gonna go to Vietnam or
But
China.
I wouldn't mind. Like maybe in like 2 to 3 years I could plan something.
Yeah, absolutely. I would highly recommend as somebody who was lucky enough to travel around China and South Korea. Um, going east is always lovely.
How do you spell that?
I'm sorry.
You said what is it called?
Oh, Guilin.
Oh,
It's gonna be.
Guilin.
I think I
Oh,
want
I
to say
found it. Y-
GUI. Yeah, like rice paddies. I mentioned you'll see all
That's
that.
beautiful. Wow.
I had trip envy when she showed me the
It's
photos and
amazing.
all that. But all right, this has been lovely. Thank you so much, Adeola. I appreciate you taking the time on Sunday morning. This is
Thank you for
not
waking up
easy.
this early. I appreciate it. So
I'm
sorry for
chilling. I
recommending
was
this
chilling.
time.
Honestly, I had the weirdest sleep schedule last night. I woke up at 4, but then woke up again at 7. Uh, all good, honestly. I feel like $100.
I'm
Feel good.
glad. I'm glad.
But where are you traveling the weekend?
I have a work trip in Baltimore. I'm gonna be
Ooh,
doing this week-long internship. I don't even know if you can call it an internship, but it's at this like bank where I'll be sitting with these all these finance bros from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, and we're going to learn about valuation. So I'm
ah,
super
that
excited.
sounds super tight. It's gonna be so much fun.
It
All
is gonna be
right,
fun. It is gonna be
modeling.
fun. It is gonna be fun. I'm so excited.
All right, very cool, very cool. I've only been to the Baltimore airport, but I love it. One of
Oh,
my favorite airports.
okay.
Their Silver Diner,
L-
fantastic.
Looking forward to it.
BWI, not too bad, not too bad at all. But all right, fantastic. I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. This has
Thank
been
you.
awesome. Thanks, Adeola.
Appreciate it. And thank you guys.
Of course. Thank you. I'm gonna pause the recording.